is affecting the neuronal patterns and the chemistry of the brain. The effect is worse as you go down the age. So the effect is worse under the age of 3. At any age there is an effect. So this is not about the Microsoft Word or doing Excel. It's about how intense the program is, and the worst is digital games, and of course the more fast moving cartoons. So what the child will show is that his attention span decreases. So no child is born brilliant, you have to train brilliant. Attention span is how much the child can absorb or sit and do in one sitting. So brain IQ is related to the span, attention span. So by the age of 12 it should be 45 minutes, but at school entry it's about 20 minutes. So year 1 actually the teacher should teach for about 20 minutes and tell stories and cover it up. By year 5 it's about 30 minutes, and passing 12 years attention span comes to adult level of 45 minutes. It's not only the attention span. When a child is on the digital screen, the attention depth also reduces and the depth of absorption becomes shallow. 3, the intensity of absorption also goes off, so depending on how much stuff child is consuming digitally. Can we have a vote if you understood the 3 things? Attention span, depth and intensity. All go off when the little fellow is doing mambo jumbo on the digital screen. Alright? So I have, actually the PowerPoint is good for you to remember just now, but the black and white is the way you remember long term. So any subject you are studying, even at this stage, having browsed, get it in black and white hard print. Annotate, underline, write your short notes. Brain remembers handwriting. And the pixels really, not that the brain is confused, brain remembers handwriting and brain doesn't remember pixels. So it is good for the immediate effect. If you are doing marketing on a bad product, PowerPoint is the way to go. But if you want to really get long-term learning into yourself or kids or your clients, get them to read documents, okay? Yeah, so that is just by way of introduction. So the 3 characteristics the child will show would be inattention. I described to you what inattention is. So school will complain that the child can't sit and study. So we do lectures at schools because teachers need to understand in a digital jittery age, parents are beginning the screen at home and the effects are seen at school. So it becomes part of a teacher's profession. Then teacher says this child is disturbed, and then the parent says, but the problem starts at home. However, teacher has to be competent also how to handle a digitally jittery child or other reasons for inattention. So who goes for the school parent-teacher day? Homo sapiens females or Homo sapiens males? Who goes? Got the point? I think mostly it's the mom who goes. Oh, NDB is different. NDB is different. So father goes for the parent-teacher day. Anyway, so at school when you go for the parent-teacher day, the teacher will say the child is disturbed, and the parent will have arguments saying that it's your business to teach. But the problem is, unless you attend at home and reduce digital consumption, teacher can do very little. Agree? So part of this, not a part, one important aspect of this talk would be to see that home digital consumption by dad and mom does not drive the child, and that you attend on your child's digital habits, okay? So inattention is one thing. Second thing is impulsivity. That is, they look as if they are going to explode, you know. I was expected to go there, I think, isn't it? I'll come there. So, inattention, causes impulsivity because the pixels have worked in the brain in such a way, I'll explain it a little later. Impulsivity is he is in one place but he is trying to explore. And he will do things precipitously, suddenly, without thinking. All that has neuronal and neurochemical behavior that have been caused by the pixels that are infiltrating the retina and retina impacting the pixels meaning photons. Pixels produce photons and photons get into retina and retina impacts the brain. That is impulsivity. Hyperactivity is the little fellow goes here and there. The way I explain this is they begin to say, mom says bring a glass of water, he'll probably say pipe, I can't do your thing, they get very rude. Besides that, they will go in one direction, then they come to a screeching halt. Have you seen that? They apply whoosh, and they, grandma might be walking around and she falls and takes her back, but it's not his concern, and he's hyperactive and impulsive and inattention are the triad of digital too much. So now let's see some slides. This is the introductory slide that I have done for mother impact years are the first 5 years. We will be doing this if we have time. When children have mother bonded, they know intimacy, they feel their insides are safe for relationships. I'll repeat it. When children are mother bonded, they feel they can trust their insides for relationships. But it is father who gives them confidence. So after the age of 5 or even before that, father gives confidence and trains the fellow to conquer his outside. So mother makes it safe within boundaries and father makes it, he gives the boundaries and the stretch of boundaries. So he has to give the next step and next stretch. Who gives the next step and next stretch? The father. So if father has not interacted with the child like that, he will be fearful of the outside. He will not make decisions. Can you give me a way if you understood that? Both have to work together. I always ask people to vote on this because Sri Lankans are vote addicts. They wait for political meetings, even if they get stuck in their workplace, they don't mind. Correct? No, but I want your empathy and owning of the subject. That's why I say just show vote. I repeat it, mother gives intimacy and they feel their insides are safe for relationships. Father gives confidence and validation, then they feel they can do well outside. Both have to interact together. Then also mother must learn restrict and release, and when the little fellow is after 1 year, how many of you have children under the age of 5? So that's quite a lot, huh? Yeah. Above the age of 40, you are not that young a man, are you? You have been in existence more than 40 years, isn't it?
40.
40. Yeah. So only one has about 40. Anyway, so let's say 12. How many have children who are around about 12? All right. So I better concentrate on the other categories. Anyway, father gives validation and confidence. That's how it is. Very quickly, there's a little garbled thing. What I want to get you is, I'll give you the 5 laws first. 5 laws, huh? 5 laws for digital behavior at home. Never give smartphone or pixel screen or any other digital gadget before the age of 3. This is medical prescription. I repeat, before the age of 3, don't give the smartphone or the digital screen or the home television for any reason before the age of 3. Now you say terrible news at the beginning. We lost our best reliable nanny, correct? transgression. And you're saying this doctor is utterly impractical, correct? But this is medical advice now. American Pediatric Association is the one that put it out first. So we are teaching this to doctors all over Sri Lanka. My academic article is up on the College of General Practitioners Sri Lanka. It's academic refereed and that kind of thing. Anyway, the medical recommendation is don't give the digital screen under the age of 3. Are you going to practice this or not? Why? Children absorb language best before the age of 3. Children can absorb language, 2 languages before the age of 3, phonemes, grammatical structure and all that, without you saying make a Sinhala, make a English or whatever. They will absorb the languages by themselves, hearing from parents and siblings. You can't teach language on the screen. All e-learning procedures for little children are a market gimmick. I repeat it, don't try to teach children on the screen languages. It will not work. So I see in my clinic, I run my clinic every Friday, I see them free of charge. Parents coming, I insist dad has to come. Otherwise he says there's a back function, he says I have to go to the gymnasium, he says I have to go to the Rotarians, he says I have to go to the Lions. Whatever they say, my secretary insists doctor will not see without the dad coming. So what does DAD stand for? Dad, deny and dodge. Now dad is there when the child is winning the first prize, sports meet, but when a problem happens, it comes on the mother's shoulder. But for the digital problem, home has to be changed by dad and dad has to take the lead. That is why I mentioned this, cite this everywhere I go. So the bottom line of this first law is before the age of 3, please don't give the digital screen. Before 5 or 6 years, they learn like parrots and by rote, and they can repeat, poems and whatever they hear on the screen, and you keep saying he's smart, he knows doodle, whatever he hears, he can repeat. That facility is only up to the age of 5. So what I see is children come after 6, they have not learned languages, they have not learned the language, they have not learned sentence formation in speaking, and they are speaking staccato. Have you seen that? One word sentence. They say one word, the thing they want. They will not say, please give me whatever. They will say, That is because of digitization very young. Second law is never give the screen at feed time. Bad news, isn't it? Never give the screen at feed time, because feed time is the most brain brilliant time. That's the time the child absorbs all his life habits and also learns best. Feed time is oxytocin high time, brain responsive time, brain absorbing time. If you give the screen at feed time, he will never or she will never give up the screen later. It will be an ever increasing habit. Can I have a sort of show of hands on that? That means you understood it. Then of course there's the difficulty of putting it to practice. The worst case I had was same with home TV. Please don't buy 4K camera for home. Besides the pixel effect, besides the program effect, the blue light itself has an effect. You can do Google and see. Blue frequency, LED lights have blue frequency. The blue frequency works against memory and sleep and appetite changes and many things. So you can do a Google on the effect of the blue light. So the more intense the screen is, higher the PPI, more the child's and your invasion into sleep. Did you understand that? So reduce the LED concentration in the home. So what I am suggesting is don't have LED lights in the bedroom, don't have LED lights in the washroom, you will disturb your sleep. Even you get up in the night and look at your smartphone for that, can't wait my email comes, no. Isn't it? You have to read it in the middle of the night WhatsApp. If you do that, you won't have your physiological sleep. But that's another law. First, let's get over with the feed time. please don't give the screen at the feed time. Adopt some other methods to feed the child, because under the age of at feed time, if you do this, it will be an ever increasing habit. You will not be able to control it. The third one, no cartoons or digital games after 6 p.m. After 6 p.m. melatonin begins to secrete, and melatonin is the sleep hormone. So you and your kid have to get ready for sleep, a kid by about 9, which means after 6 p.m. kids' digital activity has to be minimized. This is not about study. This is not about doing a PowerPoint or Excel sheet on the screen. This is about playing digital games and cartoons. Also reduce the tab activity and iPad and smartphone activity, and get on to a laptop which has a LCD in front. The old-fashioned laptop, not the touch screen, smart screen laptop. Smart screen laptop acts like a smart screen, so that pixels are directly infiltrating your brain. Did you understand that? So when you have to do work after 6 p.m., keep one of those older laptops and not the smart screen laptop. Why? Because it's affecting your sleep time. Moment you see the blue screen, blue light and the LED screen, melatonin is suppressed. It's melatonin that works through the brain in the night, and nighttime activity of the brain is at least as important, if not more important, than daytime activity. So from 9 o'clock, brain gets ready to sleep, which means you have to shut out digital activity by at least 8 o'clock. And if you are working into the night, I repeat, use a non-smart screen laptop. Alright? Then for children, of course, minimize digital activity after 6 p.m. So you fall into your sleep, the dream sleep, no dream sleep. So you have REM sleep, NREM sleep. Have you heard the REM, NREM sleep? So during REM sleep, rapid eye movement, you see a dream, then you don't see and see again. So there are about 3 to 4 cycles of sleep. Why am I going on about it? It is that physiological cycles of sleep that is putting your RAM memory into collation, connection during brain sleep time. Brain is arranging all what you have done during the day and removing all. There's a real Dreamweaver program in the brain going on. I think it's a god fantastic thing. It's a real design that you must not violate, removing all the extra chemicals, because brain is full of chemicals. What you know is adrenaline, noradrenaline, you might have heard of dopamine, serotonin, lots of chemicals work in the brain. All those extra chemicals and different changes in the neurons, the nerve cells, are all attended, and you wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, isn't it? Refreshed, ready for the next day. You or the child that has disturbed their sleep because of digital activity will not have normal dream sleep, the way it should be. Initially, dreams are bad dreams, bad dreams, such as what? The mother-in-law is going to come and stay with you for 1 week, some bad dreams like that. Then dreams improve, and towards about 4:30 in the morning, you start dreaming about 12:30. Towards 4:30 in the morning, you get nicer dreams, better dreams. You are getting an increment and that kind of dreams. No, not that you see your mother-in-law did. No, not but some better dreams. And you wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, ready for the day. Now, some homes have a 40-year-old male child addicted to the screen. What's his name? Yeah, the dad. So if dad is addicted to the 40-year-old male child, so he also wakes up in the morning, grouchy, tea is not good. So children get up in the morning and complain, teacher is bad, shirt is not ironed, because they have not had their normal restoring sleep. They have physically slept, but the brain hasn't done that part of the brain function which is dependent on melatonin, which you must not violate. Did you understand that? Similarly, proper melatonin-induced sleep attends on memory. So what we study and collate and connect during the day gets into brain and memory for recall and application in the night. So you have to protect your sleep. Quite apart from people are prone to depression and all those medical things with too much of the screen. Same with kids. Recently I had a child coming from, mother is a teacher, daughter came, the two of them came, she's about 15. So she said she wants too much on the screen, so I gave my usual advice I write when they come on a Friday evening. You also can make an appointment and come. We don't charge you. We put the kid through the exercises that will detox them, get the screen out of them. So I took and I draw scientific diagrams and I speak to the kid. You have to speak to the child herself, isn't it? It's not only parents, the child must understand, and of course parents must understand. Child is very quiet, this girl is very quiet, and the mother said, darling, you must tell the doctor. Then again, mother said, you haven't told still. Third time mother said, and then she says, it's like, no, this was there. Then she did this on her own, lifted up her sleeve, a huge gash, about 3 inches long, yeah, up 2.5 inches, and about 3 to 4 millimeters wide, heel scar. Now I have seen young fellows cutting themselves now. I'll tell you why it happens. So this girl says, I said, what happened? She said, now, she suddenly became bold. She said, it's like this, doctor. Death is an experience. You have to experience death and see it. No. She was so quiet up to that time. This is what she said. So I of course can't show around. And it was a pretty deep gash that it left such a scar. But I at least once a month I see chaps who, that is because when they are too much on the screen, the dopamine thrill comes down and they get dopamine depleted. Where dopamine is the thing that drives the thrill. When they get dopamine depleted, they feel, then they cut themselves to invoke another neurochemical transmitter called endorphins. Then they feel cool. This is why they do that. So this is not a rare phenomenon. So this is why you should attend on the habits of the digital habits of the home, as Dad and Mom. So this is about sleep. Fourth one, never cartoons and games beyond 25 minutes. Take a break after 25 minutes of screen yourself by, you have tweezers, do that, and a few other things. If you keep a wire mat, this lanu paduru, barefooted, like while you're working, scratch on it, you know what I mean, barefooted, then that has a medical effect of reversing the digital absorption that is going on while you are studying. Similarly, you can tell this to kids when they are in, some schools are very high on digital exposure. So then you have to teach these students. I'm from that great school in Mount Lavinia. It has produced some wise heads of states and others have produced other wise heads of states. Anyway, our school decided not to have tabs, though well-known old boy of the school who's in the telecom industry offered tabs for everyone, free of charge. Warden asked me what to do. I said, you have heard the lecture. So he decided not to have tabs for school, on the principle that digital screen does not promote learning. It only reduces all the learning related activity such as collation, connection, remembering, recall, application, all that gets dumped down. So in effect, the screen is smart, the child gets stupid. I'm not exaggerating. So these are the research facts. I have presented an academic paper this July to the SLMA academic sessions because they asked me to do a session, and many of my colleagues said, Lalith, whatever the reason parents come for, they first say, doctor, it's a terrible reason. How do I stop the screen time, reduce the screen time of my son or daughter? Now with boys, with their testosterone, they keep doing it and they get into not good things, They get into sexual experiments and violence. Some get into gambling. They steal the card from parents and they start internet gambling. That kind of things. Girls tend to get chronic fatigue syndrome. they can't study, they are bored, they lose energy, that kind of stuff. So the effect of the screen is a little different in the girl child and the boy child. So never cartoons and games beyond 25 minutes. And not the same cartoon when they are young. Don't make them loyal to brands, because little children should be loyal only to parents. You are introducing an alien. Generally the screen cartoons are sarcastic, very aggressive, very rude, agreed. And all the colors and the sounds that is so violent works against learning. So try not to give the screen daily. Negotiate with them Monday and Wednesday and Friday only, and don't use the screen for you to not attend on your studies, on your child. To save your time, don't give the child the screen. So I call this Bala Aparadya and Lama Apacharya. And who's doing this? Parents. So don't give the same cartoon, because they should not become loyal to cartoons like that. And also don't reinforce the addictive habit by buying Ben 10 watch, Ben 10 bottles, Ben 10 boots, Ben 10 stickers, you know what I mean? The same, those allied paraphernalia will make the addiction worse. Last one, keep your attention span for 45 minutes. This is true for you and the kids. What do I mean by that? Our brain is designed to work in 1 hour at a time. Let me get to the this is our default mode network of thought cycle. So we think or do for 45 minutes. That's called salience. In English you have a word called get to the salient point. So our work is working for, our brain is working for salience, get to the point. And we will do something for 45 minutes, and automatically you will want to do a sit back. That happens without thinking. That's how it is. So for salience, dopamine works, and this is supposed to be a U curve, and it comes down. Then serotonin begins to work. It doesn't work, this is disproportionate. It works for about 15 minutes. It comes down. What does serotonin do? It works for satiety. That is to say, it works for a reward motive. Did I, even the child, even the kid, did I do this well? Did I study it well? Should I look back? Should I study that section? How can I improve? Did you understand that? So now, brain is chemistry and nerve cells. Deep inside is the spirit and the heart of affection and the seat of emotion, the plan and all that is going on. But brain is the thing that finally executes it, isn't it? So our brain design is that with serotonin working, we do a check back. When the child is on the digital screen after 25 minutes, dopamine doesn't come down. What does dopamine do? Keeps going on. Then dopamine 1 receptor is physiological for learning, management, planning activity. I repeat, there are 5 dopamine receptors. Dopamine 1 receptor is for our usual activity, learning, managing, planning. We operate on dopamine 1. Now dopamine 2 receptor is useful for stress time. When you suddenly hear there's going to be a big public meeting, all face and fuzzes are going to get started, you get into stress mode, peril mode. Of course, soldiers operate like this in the foxhole. They can do it for about 7 hours. It's a useful trap for danger and peril. For instance, if you start sleeping on a banana leaf, banana lella, what happens? You will automatically quickly adjust yourself. But that's not for long term. When the little fellow is in the digital screen, what happens is dopamine keeps going up. Dopamine 1 physiological receptor turns to dopamine 2 stress, thrill, addictive behavior. So it's not a small change. So UCLA in their academic articles calls the digital screen what? What is this? Electronic cocaine. Because the effect of prolonged digital absorption is like cocaine. What does cocaine do? Increases dopamine. So why do people take cocaine? Dance till you drop. That's what cocaine does. So friends tell each other, Machan, make a gunning, Raya eliminate හැරගෙන ඉන්න පුළුවන්. පාඩුවත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැරගෙන ඉන්න පුළුවන් is true. You can keep up, but you will not be studying. So you know, a lot of promotion goes from peer to peer. Most schools have a father who is peddling drugs through the son in every grade after grade 8. The largest school in Moratuwa, my hometown, was invaded by the STF about 1 year ago without informing anybody. Pick the drug packets from the bags of the kids coming to school. So this goes on in every school. Now you're shocked or don't want to believe or this doctor has come from some fantasy land. No, there is research and I'm a regular lecturer for the police academy, and whenever I go to a town they always arrange a lecture. Police are very beautiful shepherds on the street if they are given to do the job. This is what I have found. They are very caring, very knowledgeable. They know everything that goes on in the town. Only thing they need executive direction from above to do what they know to do right. So I work with them closely. They uncovered or discovered the digital problem, that the digital screen promotes drug addiction. Did you understand the medicine behind it? D1 has turned to D2, addictive behavior. Now in a little while we are going to fill a form. Your thick set of docs will have a form that can be filled. සමහර ෆිල්ටර් කරන ෆෝම් එක දාලා Is there a fillable form that is name and whatnot? Very good, very good. Very good. We will fill that so that we do a little exercise of this fillable form. We will do a little exercise of, did you understand the topic, how to own this topic, and think through. But before that, we have to do something more. Am I saying things too fast? This is how the character curriculum and career choices are made. We think and do from a prefrontal cortex. This is the prefrontal cortex. Think and plan and do. This is the executive empathic center. All right, prefrontal cortex. This whole thing is called the frontal cortex. The front part is called the prefrontal cortex. I am talking about the brain. Brain. So that's where we have top-down regulation. We think and plan and do. Executive, empathic, reflective, creative, initiation, navigation, in conclusion, successful, reward. So we initiate. I said 45 minutes, you remember? Now, even a 3-year-old toddler is into this. Only thing, his attention span is about 10 minutes. What does he initiate? He wants to toddle along in the direction of mom or Archie or someone. So he starts toddling along. And he has planned it. He hears the sound. In that direction he goes. And when he sights her, you have to see that? Who says well done to him? He says well done. He found mom. Did you understand it? Or similarly, he's in the playpen. We advised about the 8 months keeping a playpen. He wants to throw everything outside. So and generally in the direction of mom. Where this is what dad did with peanuts to the mom when he was courting her. So he's got the gene, so he's throwing in the direction. And when everything is outside, mom must come and put it all back inside. He feels done. You don't understand. So he's initiating, navigating, successful in conclusion. The reward motive is very important, that they think and do well. Now this should increase. So some home tips: if you put a padura in the area he is maneuvering, his brain tracts will do better. Lanu padura is even better, of course, covered with a sari. Because those rally, the frills you feel, the knots and dots in that, touches the Atangili and Padangili. To the extent fingers and toes are involved in friction and sensation, his brain develops better. You put the child on the screen, one screen is 2D. All of normal life is 3D. So brain develops 2 into the power 3 is how much? 8. 2 into the power 2 is how much? 4. So when you put the child on the screen, he sits on his bottom and looking at this, and the smart screen is pulling things at him, he is doing nothing. Agree? He is losing all the interactive finger, eye, coordination, fingers and toes touching friction, all that is gone. So 40% of our sensory cortex and the motor cortex represents fingers, eyes, lips, and the swallowing activity. So this is why when the child is eating, I told you, please don't disturb it with the screen. That's the time he's doing the brain adjustments that will serve him for life. So till 13, the brain tracts are forming. That's all you have for all your life. After that, you are modulating what you have. Did you understand? So if your child's life till 14 is filled with the digital screen, what a tragedy it is. So please don't do this. Keep the child brain smart, adjust home, adjust your habits. So this is the learning top down, hitamata, this is the one. Now when the child is on the screen, what's happened is the kinesthetic, acoustic, visual input of the screen is very, very strong. Screen is addictive. In fact, digital games are advertised how? What do they say? This is the most addictive game. Now there's a lawsuit against Fortnite. 2 parents have got together and filed action against Fortnite, saying their 2 kids are impossible. Fortnite has made it, done research, they have done a lot of research and expert opinion and whatnot, saying Fortnite is designed to be addictive. And the ill effects of that, like cigarette smoking and cancer, there are lawsuits. So parents have started to file action. I don't know how the action will go, but I think it's a jolly good thing. Have you played Fortnite? You have heard of Fortnite, isn't it? This is not the Satyavata Fortnite. It's a digital game Fortnite, yeah. It's quite violent. People think it is brain forming. It is not. It is brain addictive. They get into bottom-up regulation. That means what they are receiving from outside is stronger than what they are thinking in their head. Is that a good situation? If the stimulation from outside is stronger than what you are thinking and doing, that is addictive behavior. At the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, agree? So you have to stop the screen. So this is called bottom-up regulation. They get dyspathy, impulsive, repetitive, reflexive, reactive. So they have a come for a fight attitude, isn't it? They come from home or school and they throw the bag somewhere, that saran bag, the carry bag, what do you call it? The backpack. They throw it, then they kick the door, then they snarl at the sister, then they bark at the door. Have you bark at the dog? That kind of rude behavior because of this drivenness. So they're in stress, thrill, survive mode, and it's just not the nastiness. The young little fellow is losing his potential. Okay, this you need to take analysis of. Can we please quickly fill it? It's my research job. Please hand it over to me. Quickly, we'll go through the motions. still have pens? I see many of you do. Please get a pen from your neighbor even. And it is, you are about 50, I was told. So if we have a 90% response confidence interval in the statistical analysis, is good. Name, address, mobile number, email to. First question. I have no problem with my children's digital behavior. Now this is meant for you to think through and apply the seminar. Now you start thinking, how is my little fellow, how old, what is she doing now at home? One of my most, it's a tragic thing, was from STC, college referred to parents, father and mom. They came, said, and little fellow is doing, he's not, sentences can't be formed after the age of 6. That's why there are so many speech therapists where speech has gone wrong. But when you have lost your natural absorption time from 1 to 3, teaching speech is very difficult. Obviously, isn't it? Where you absorb speech, hearing mom, dad, sibling speak. Anyway, this child has stuck in speech. So I said, how did this child get stuck in speech so much? If the father said, sir, the problem is this. My mother and her mother are both in our home. They don't talk to each other. This is truth, So they are in 2 different rooms. Each has a TV screen in her room and her room. And home also has a TV screen. So the little fellow from day dot, he is doing TV charika, home TV. That mother, grandmother's TV, paternal grandmother, maternal grandmother, he's completely stuck and he's getting angry that he can't now talk. Because now up to the age of 5, he like a parrot, he said the things that he heard. Now he can't form sentences and he's hitting the mother. Why is it that when children go wrong, they hit the mother? I think they intuitively feel mom should have made it safe. Though dad creates all the bad habits in the home, isn't it? So both of you have to get together and reduce the digital screen time. It's tragic for the child. He feels that he has potential inside, but he knows it has got dumbed down. It's very frustrating, Yeah. So please feel, I have no problem with my children's digital behavior. We are not going to, we are not going to show this to anyone. I just want to know the percentage of how you are thinking about it now. Age of child of concern, male or female. My child's TV time, how much per day? And smartphone time or digital gadget time. So this makes you to think, consider, what are they doing now? Once upon a time, there was Archie and Sia, isn't it? Now upon a time, Archie and Sia has so much things to do. They have aerobics, they have flower shows, they have dog shows. So they are also very busy and they have their own television programs. What is your concern? Did the school handle the issue well? Did they complain? Did they complain rudely? Were they nasty? So parents, you have to meet with the school and say, please don't send WhatsApp messages to my child's phone. Please don't send emails. Write it on a homework book. There are schools that has a book. Write it and send it and home checks. So you have to form a parents' union and lobby with the school to reduce the child's unnecessary digital input. Then if your children are in play schools or creche, now why should you pay to a creche through your nose if all what they do after 1:30 is showing the screen? Are you listening? You have to appeal to them and say, don't do this. Now, STC acquired a play school next to the school. So I went visiting there some time ago. That play school, I think they call it Little Masters. They had no digital screen at all. They had substantial ground, tires, swings, grips and ropes. You understand? That's the way to do play schools. So you have to lobby and reduce digital consumption where you are paying. Agree? After you are paying, you have to work on this. Let's fill it up soon. What age was child exposed to cartoons? Before 3? Cartoon time for day. Half an hour, 1 hour. What specific cartoons affect most? For instance, parents come and tell me there was a series called Merlin, where the old sword comes up, and parents said when they have watched it, child is spooked up, there's magic in the air, he's not falling asleep, his sleep is disturbed. So some programs, it's spook, magic, monsters affect sleep more. So your child is consuming all kinds of stuff. That's affecting the sleep pattern, brain pattern, child's character. Cartoon time, what specific cartoon? Food time. Now, is food time a battle? Please, now some of you will have children who are still very young. So, always same time, same chair. Best is finger feeding himself. Don't smash the food too much, because biting food on the gums or with the teeth makes brain brilliant. And keep pieces available. You get the point? When they are biting on the pieces, it's a medical sensation that goes to the brain. Then there are spoons that are shaped in a certain way, so that is second best. Best is finger. Now, how does feed time now happen? It's all smashed up, and someone is putting concrete into the mouth, and the little fellow is watching that thing. No ownership, that's his best resource, and he's not concentrating, and you are not able to teach anything, and the bad thing gets reinforced. So please, feed time, no screen. Now I know things I say will inconvenience you, but it is a good purpose, isn't it? You have to keep your child's brain potential maximized. Otherwise, passing 14, you can't do anything about the potential. It's done and finished. Then another thing, we'll better finish this. We will collect this after you finish it. So food time, no problems, too long, inattentive. They will say, I hate fruit and I hate vegetables. That's part of the digital age. Because fruit has 5-hydroxytryptamine, which has a brain effect of check back, like serotonin. It delays them. You have to munch and eat. No, they can't munch and eat. Because the screen is moving, they can't afford to munch and eat. They have to go on like that. So intentionally you must add crunchy vegetables and fruit into the fellow's diet. Sleep time. What time does he go to sleep? Now, Dad, 7 o'clock is family redemption time. You come home, please don't come home with the phone in your ear. Adjust yourself, sit in your car. Now you are not the big corporate NDB big shot. Now you have come home and you are now, what's your official title? Lifelong title? Dad and husband. Same for mom. She put your phone down. Next hour is curfew time for dad and mom. No screen. What is it to that? Possible? I plead with you, if you can get 1 hour from 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 8:30, you can catch up for the whole day. You can. That's a reading time. Yeah. Sit down time. Good habit building time. And snatch a little time when the fellow is falling asleep. Establish that habit. When he's falling asleep, when she's falling asleep, you'll go to the room, sit by the bedside, maybe say your prayers or read another book or tell another story, hum a song, in very, very tone even. Because that's the time they want to come out of the difficulties they face. If not, they go to sleep with the bad things that happen inside. They get reinforced for the next stage, early sleep. Give them a time to warm it up. Catharsis time. They want to tell at that time while falling asleep. While falling asleep time, it must be by the child's bedside. That's the Ratrira time, the Vadapikya time, the Tulava time, whatever. Time our second 11 T20 people are trashing the Pakistani out of it. What a great thing is this. One fellow suggested that the next series should be Syria, that they'll do better. What I'm saying is that night time, give the child a little 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You're establishing a very important habit, darling. Any stage of your life, I'm walking into your room. Give me a wave on that. If not, by 13, 14, they are saying, don't come to my room. Isn't it? My room is my territory. Why did it happen? In the impressionable, tutorable age, you are not there. Passing 13, 14, they are saying, we don't want you. Because passing 13, 14 is the peer age. They listen to peers anyway. So before they get to that age, make it known to them that it's well worth listening to you. Did you understand? Then when a peer suggests a thrill, he has gotten into head, my dad is the one who gives me the next step, next stretch. So when the little fellow is transitioning from tricycle to bicycle, risky time. Who should do that risk? Dad should do that risk. You understand what I mean? They are doing the tricycle. Then when they are about 3.5, 4, now they can manage to get into the bicycle. Dad should be there at every such time. When later wrong thrills are suggested, what will he say? Things I don't know. It's Dad who taught me. Did you understand? That's how to go. That's about sleep time. What digital games he plays? Has your child been treated with drugs for digital addiction, any other jitteriness, or any learning problems? So my academic paper was, don't give drugs, first try empathic learning therapy. What is empathic learning therapy? This is our center. Is it clear? It is all grips and ropes. So when young fellows come, usually above the age of 7 or 8, we put them through these grips and ropes. When they do it rhythmically with a team, we can reverse their wrongly made digital tracks. Digital screen, in a layman's language, causes too many roundabouts in the child's brain. So you must have a roundabout when you're on the road, 50 meters and a roundabout, correct? It will say left, right, go straight. What if we have roundabouts every 5 meters? Can traffic progress? Similar thing happens in the brain with the digital screen. So what we do is try to straighten it up, but they lay language. If there are technical things that happen, that's what we do. So this is outdoor course. Can you see these Unchila-like things? They not only part of digital detox, this is part of brain training. And this is an outdoor place. Some corporates have used this for, what do you call it? Outbound training. Silicon Life has used it. Some schools have used it. You also can use it. But we will charge you for that. But our Center for Children Difficulties are free of charge. You can come and use this place. We don't charge you. You can come and see me if you have a problem. Make a appointment with my secretary, but she will say, Dad has to come. You will hear it there. This is the outbound thing. So we put school teams or with normal fellows, with digitalized fellows, and this is a mud puddle. They have to go on the rope and they fall in the mud and don't you know? Yeah. Why the drugs? Have you finished? If you finish the form, please hand it over. If you have had to go to someone because of a child's learning difficulty, or jittery behavior, or angry behavior, maybe you should speak to me before you go on. Okay.